Back in early 2015, I fell in love with a chateau I found online. I then had to convince my other half to give up our London life and move to rural France. To my surprise, she said yes, and a year later said yes again at our wedding at the chateau we now called our home. It's just us two and our husky Lightning, and now of course a few animals who seem to have joined us along the way.
It's such a beautiful place to live, so we decided to share it with everyone.
It's obviously a lot of hard work for just us two.
It's not always a fairy tale, and we don't always get it right.
But it's all fantastic fun along the way, so we bring this chateau back to life for others to enjoy as much as we do. Follow us, Angelina and Phil, along with the highs and lows of our Chateau Life.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. So this week it's going to be no projects. We just haven't got the time. So I'm going to go over a couple of bits and pieces. The first thing to address is of course the title. Is this the end of Chateau Life? We started this channel to try to spread a little bit of happiness through the lockdown and everything that's going on in the world, as we realised we were in such a fantastic position here and there are so many people that just weren't. It's a difficult time for everybody, and we just wanted to be able to spread some of the joy and happiness that we were having through that lockdown and that we get every day. The reality is the ongoing issues in the world are taking their toll on everybody, but when you've got a place like this to run, even more so for us. Will we survive? Yeah, I'm sure we will. I'm not worried in that respect, because I'm not a worrier, and there's no point in worrying. You just deal with what you can do. It's a time issue for us. I think the stress of me constantly back and forth from France back to the UK to work every 4 days, 4 days on, 4 days off, and everything else that needs to be done here, with also trying to get these videos out to you guys, which does take a huge amount of time with the edit and everything else that goes on. We're going to try to carry on for as long as we possibly can doing these videos for everyone, but we've kind of reached a ceiling for viewers and everything, and that's cool. I mean, thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and if you haven't already, do think about subscribing and hitting that bell button so you know when our videos are out. But ultimately, when we need the time to really try to find other ways of producing an income to survive, just like everybody else at the moment, the first thing that's going to end up being a casualty of all of this is sadly the YouTube channel. I hope it doesn't come to that, and I really hope that you guys can get out there and hopefully share it with anybody that might want to watch it as well, and maybe things will pick up and the ad revenue will kind of offset the massive time that it is taken to make this video for you guys. But we'll have to see, guys. I'd really love to pick up the numbers, but that depends on if our videos are good enough, and I hope they are. Look, let's not dwell on that, okay? I mean, it's a difficult time for everybody, and apologies if I've if I'm not feeling as upbeat as I normally am, because I love these videos and I wouldn't want them to end. But on to the actual topic of the video.
With Angelina taking a break from the videos as she's so hard at work, and me travelling back and forth to the UK, I just wanted to show you a few things that I really love about this place. This is one of my favourite areas. This is outside the chapel, and this is where I got to marry Angelina. And you can see here the flagstone path. This was our aisle. This is where Angelina walked down to meet me at the front there, where we got married in front of our friends and family. Here's where I got to stand and say my vows and marry the woman I love. And of course I get to see that every day, which is just a beautiful reminder. The view from the bridge to get onto our little island. I often say to Angelina, she is a princess that lives in a castle on her own island. After a couple of days back at the chateau, which felt like only hours, it was time for cars, ferries, trains and tubes back to work in London. Okay, I've managed to find not a bad place to sit and just film this little bit about some questions we were asked. Alright guys, I found a quiet-ish place to be able to just film this and talk to you as I'm obviously back in London. Look, we get a lot of emails and it's lovely, it's very humbling that we've inspired people to want to move to Chateau. I get a lot of questions and I'm always sort of happy to go back and forth. But we've had a couple recently. A lot of people who really want a chateau or the sort of the chateau life that they see, you know, that we've sort of just about managed. And I love inspiring people. I also always say chase your dreams, but a few have been very worrying to me because the sort of when I sort of delve into it a little bit and start talking to people a little bit about their finances and stuff, about how they're going to manage it, and they ask me questions and I answer them. I got a little bit worried about a few people. I don't want to be the cause of people getting into any financial difficulty because we possibly make this look easier than it has by not sort of could be gloss over the difficult things, because it's not meant to be a factual documentary. It's supposed to be a little fun vlog. We got one particular email recently, and it sort of, you know, it is on a common theme that I'd had a little while, which were people saying that they would be able to afford, you know, until they started earning money out of the chateau for about 6 months or so. It's just, I just need to remind people, just sort of really politely, this is a sort of a 3 to 5 year plan before you've been starting earning any money out of these places, and even then, I'm not 100% sure you'd ever really cover the entire costs of it. We have a business in the UK, and obviously that's really struggling because of COVID. So not only is the chateau not earning any money, we're not really earning any money in the UK, hence me working as well. So, you know, hey, as I always say, there's no point in, if worrying about something doesn't change it, don't worry about it, just do stuff that can change it, which is why I'm here working. But it can, if people get you know, financially in difficulty because of watching one of our videos and think that it's a wonderful life to have, I would never forgive myself. So I've had to sort of talk about this. I'm really sorry if that's what we you know, sort of come across. Guys, unless you can afford to fund the chateau for 3 to 5 years without ever making a penny, please don't try. I'm not trying to stamp on anyone's dreams, because I always say follow them, but please don't. And it's not just about how fast things don't come to fruition, but a lot about unexpected things, just like this year for everybody. So I just wanted to kind of say that quickly. That's the sort of quick, you know, warning out the way. There's a couple of things that people have asked me which are really important, and I'd love to answer them. And the main one was, what are the biggest mistakes that we think we've made, and what mistakes have we seen other people make out here or heard about? Now, the first one and the easiest one is not having a clear plan, letting everything go to your head. And it does, that's fine, you're following a dream, chase it. But it's not just a chateau, it's anything.
there's an old saying that houses, anything cheap in France are houses and wine. It's kind of true. Everything else is more expensive than most countries. It's good quality, it's a wonderful life, but unlike the UK, there's not a DIY store on every corner that's dirt cheap. So materials are good 30% more. Wage costs are more, so same as taxes. So your artisans that come and deal with stuff for you are more. Plumbers, electricians, all these things, they are more. Property taxes, it's all quite high. So you've got to be really careful when you're thinking about these things, because the first thing that you want to do when you realise how cheap property is buy something enormous. And obviously, good example, you just go silly. And that's wonderful if you're prepared for the financial, physical and emotional cost that goes with that. And I've sadly met a lot of people out in France who just weren't. Their marriage suffered from having a place that was just huge, and it turned into huge amounts of work. There's people that they've sold those places and got tiny places afterwards because they realised they didn't need it. It was purely for ego because they'd never had it and wanted it. Plus, it's the opportunities. You've got to think very seriously what the opportunities are. So, what are the biggest things that you think about? I think mistakes. I don't think we've got anything that was too big for us. Underestimating what you can do would be a slight mistake, and not seeing small issues with the property. That's to go with the territory, I think. But if you were looking for a place in France, be very realistic about how much it's going to cost you to look after all the land that you suddenly realise you can buy. I think that's my top tip on that one, and that was a question that came in recently. Let's find a spot in the sunshine. Yeah, that'll do. Right, well, I've moved around this park so I got a bit more sunshine, because it's my only bit of actual outside time I'm going to get today. However, I've got closer to the road, so apologies if there's now background noise. I'm staying in there. I can see my bedroom. Cool. Look, the other question was, I'll get a question about obviously me coming back to work, and people saying they'd like to move their family across to France now, and can they come back and work, and how difficult is it? It is absolutely killing me. The travel back and forth is a nightmare. I've got a friend, like even coming back with a friend of mine who's a fireman, and he does 4 days on, 4 days off. I don't know how he manages it, and he's been doing it for 11 years, I think. It's just crazy. I know a few other people that have been doing it sort of Monday to Thursday. They work in the UK and then come back for a couple of days. That might be more manageable for some. It's a good emergency fallback plan, but I wouldn't recommend it. And the biggest issue for France is, unless you're going to be self-employed, there aren't huge opportunities for you out here. Out in France. I'm not there at the moment. It's a land of opportunity if you're willing to try. But jobs end up going to the French people mostly. It's a language thing more than anything, but also they're very protectionist, and in a place where the properties are cheap, it's usually because there isn't huge amounts of prospects. So you've got to sort of weigh all that sort of stuff up. Another question I had, so this has ended up turning into a little bit of a Q&A, mainly because, and I hope you appreciate, guys, that Angelina's not doing the videos for a little while. She's just too tired with everything else going on, and it's just too much pressure for everything. So I'm taking over those, but obviously travel, work, I've got to try to find some things which I can get in there. So hence the Q&A. Right, so one of the main things, what would I do differently if I did it all over again? Nothing. Because I'm exactly where... Loud car with a silly exhaust, sorry. Nothing, because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I didn't know it at the time. I thought we'd move on. I didn't know we'd stay there for as long as we would. I didn't know many things. I think the only thing, if I'd done things differently, we would have ended up with a enormous place with huge amounts of land, which comes back to my previous comment regarding looking after things, huge amounts of outbuildings, and the business we would have had to have run to even slightly make a dent in the bills would have been not only crippling, but would have sucked the love and the fun out of it completely. The house as it is can do that at times, and I don't miss that noise in rural France. So would I do things differently? I often, funny enough, think I would, and then I think about it and realise I wouldn't. My simple example of this is that I would have actually bought Chateau Life had it come up and been for sale when we were looking. And obviously I see the Pethricks all the time. We're good friends. I speak to Billy most days, and knowing what I know now, I'm so glad the estate agents that had it on the books and never gave me the details didn't. It worked out for two reasons. The business I would have had to have run from it, I wouldn't have enjoyed, not with our UK business as well and the time I've got, but mostly because then I wouldn't have had some of my very, very close friends just up the road. So again, about how do I do things differently? I never would. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. All right, so another question was, do we wish we'd done YouTube earlier? Absolutely. Really, really, really wish we had, because it's been so much fun. Getting to engage with you guys gave us fresh eyes on our life, and gave us a fresh appreciation for it, which is a really nice thing, I think. I think getting to see what you've kind of got used to through others' eyes is a very good thing to do in life. It helps you reassess and appreciate what you have a lot more. So yeah, I do wish I had. I think also we would have got slightly more used to it, and we might be slightly higher in the numbers, which would obviously, with everything going on in the world, I would be slightly less worried that we're going to have to stop the channel, in as much as that we'd just have a slightly higher view rate, which would alleviate some of the pressure on the time that it takes. But yeah, I really do wish we'd started earlier, but again, everything happens for a reason. We started through lockdown to share the joys that we were experiencing through a difficult time, realizing just how hard everyone was finding it. Lockdown made us reassess our life a little bit, and as much as we were very fortunate with everything going on in the world, where we were spending that time, where we continue to spend that time, and obviously we just wanted to share a bit of that joy with everybody, and we are continuing to do that. So I kind of wish we had started earlier, but also the reasons why we started when we did, lockdown, sharing, and trying to bring a little bit of joy into the world with you guys meant it was the right time as well. So fingers crossed. It was yeah, I would like to have started earlier, but we started at the right time, and maybe with a little luck and a little push from you guys to try to get people to watch, then maybe we'll be able to carry on. It all works out. Okay guys, I'm getting obviously rather large amount of weird looks while I'm sat talking into my phone in a cradle with a microphone on and stuff in the middle of a park in London. So I am going to have to wrap it up, and I think sadly that will make the video a little bit shorter than you're usually used to. I really apologise, and I apologise that it's been a bit different this time round. So, is it the end of Chateau Life? I really hope not. I will do my absolute best to carry on with the videos and keep these things flowing. That's my promise to you guys, is I'll do everything I can to carry on with these. If you can make sure that you please do, if you like our videos, please do share them with anybody else that you think might like them. please do comment, like. It does help in YouTube to keep it higher in the rankings. And of course, you know, if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. If you want to get a notification every time a new video comes out, hit the little bell button next to it, and then you'll be notified by them. Guys, as always, you know, it's my little chateau family. Thank you so much for being part of it. So, you know, thank you for watching. Patrons, you've been out there, you've been helping us. I wouldn't have been able to film this if it wasn't for the mics that you help us buy. The background noise is too much. So thank you to all of our patrons. If you want to be one of our patrons, then, you know, please check the link in the description below. There's all sorts of discounts on merchandise and, of course, behind the scenes videos, that sort of thing. Everybody that's bought us a coffee, that really helps keep the channel going, and so thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, if you want to, if that was something you want to do, buy us coffee, it's again in the description below. Please take a look. Guys, I really want to grow our subscriber numbers, and we've made this channel to try to share a little bit of love with everyone out there through this difficult time. I guess what we're asking for, because we've hit a little bit of a wall motivationally wise as well, is we're just asking for you guys to show us a little bit of love. So please, hey, however that is, we'd love to see our view rates really go, and the same with the subscriber rate. We'd really feel a bit of love with that. So that's what I'm hoping for over the next few weeks. And in the meantime, have a great time wherever you are. Stay safe. See you soon.